ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं मवामहे कविं कवीनावश्रवस्त्रमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पद आनुशृण्वोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ महागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ केशवाय नमः, नारायणाय नमः, ॐ माधवाय नमः, गोविन्दाय नमः, विष्णुवे नमः, मत्सूदनाय नमः, त्रिविक्रमाय नमः, वामनाय नमः, श्रीधराय नमः, ऋषिकेशाय नमः, पद्मनाभाय नमः, दामोदराय नमः, संकर्षण वासुदेवाय नमः, प्रद्युम्नाय नमः, अनिरुद्धाय नमः, पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः, दोक्षाय नमः, नारसिंहाय नमः, अच्युताय नमः, जनार्दनाय नमः, उपेन्द्राय नमः, हरे नमः, श्री कृष्ण. Planning to talk about homeostasis in the human body. We need to understand how the human body, origin of the human body, how the human body formation. In Bhagavata, there is a good description of how the body develops in the mother's womb. It is nothing but embryology of what we read in anatomy and physiology. The embryology of how the baby develops is also given details in the Bhagavata also. In Bhagavata, Lord Kapila instruction is wondering about the living entities. And it's a human body is an amazingly complex machine created by God, Lord Narayana, in the mother's womb. And it's a complex machine which has got an ability to repair itself in a given circumstances and also deteriorates if the circumstance is very bad. The Supreme Lord Kapila, that is who is an incarnation of Lord Narayana, he says, because of its karma, the living entity, guided by the Lord, enters through the particle of semen of a man, the womb, and then to the womb of a woman in order to dwell there for obtaining a body. This Atma has to obtain a body to continue its karma. Whatever the karma is left, whatever the karma is to be cleared. So he is given an opportunity for the person to born again in the womb of a lady and with the help of a semen of a man. So it enters, the soul enters through the particle of semen of a man into the womb of the woman in order to dwell there for obtaining a body. On the first night, the sperm and ovum mix. At the fifth night, there is a bubble, and in about 10 days, it is thereafter like a plump lump of a flesh or an egg size. Within the month, head appears, and within 2 months, limbs like arms and feet forms. The nails, the beginning of hair, bones, skin, reproductive organs, and the apertures appear within 3 months. In about 4 months, the 7 ingredients separate body fluids and other elements. In 5 months, feelings like hunger and thirst occur to the baby. And in the 6th month, the fetus starts to move within its own environment to the right in the amnion fluid. The males to the right, mostly females to the left. So one says, from the nutrition and fluid obtained from the umbilical cord through the mother's circulation, fetus grows. As it stays in that impossible hollow whereabout stool and urine form breeding ground of germs. All the time aching for food, it is being so tender, affected by the environmental situation over its body a great deal while residing there, moment after moment, lapsing into unconsciousness because of the excessive bitterness, heat, pungency, saltiness, dryness, this resource, soreness, etc. of the food taken by the mother. It is affected in every limb and thus feels pain. The fetus feels the pain depending upon the food mother eats. Enclosed in the amniotic fluid, in that place, surrounded by the intestines outside the uterus, it lies with a bent neck. It is in a fetal position, flexing the neck and hands like that inside the womb of the mother. So you have got a very tight space for the fetus to grow. Because of the excessive bitterness and situation, environment, the baby feels the space is so tight. As the baby grows on, the space becomes narrow and narrow again. Enclosed by the omnion in that place, surrounded by the amniotic fluid, within heads bent like an arch in the belly. Like a bird in a cage that has no freedom of movement, it still remembers, when it is lucky, what has happened in all its past hundred of births. Remembering such a long history, it will sigh. For what peace of mind can it achieve then? From the seventh month on, it is endowed with consciousness, but at the same time, it is pushed down by the pressure of the womb where it cannot stay longer, just like the worm stemming from the same belly. The fearful living entity, the fetus, bound to its seven constituents, the nails, skin, fat, flesh, blood, bone marrow, bone, then with folded hands and faltering words prays. The fetus prays, appealing to the Lord who placed him in that womb. The human soul says, may he protect me, who protects the entire universe, and who, with assuming his different forms, walks the earth with his lotus feet. Let me take shelter of this refuge that will take my fears away of him who decided that I deserve this sort of condition. I, I, the pure soul, covered by the grossness of the matter, which consists of the elements, the senses, and the mind, have fallen into this delusional state, Maya. Because of my being bound to activities, let me offer my obeisances so that I may hold on to the completely pure, changeless one of limited knowledge who resides in the heart of the repentant one. That means the gods, separated as I am by the covering of this material body, and that has formed from the five elements and relies on senses, material preferences, gunas, rajasika, tamasika, and sattvika. These are the three gunas: interest and identification. I offer my obeisances to you, the Supreme Person, transcendental to material nature and its living entities, to you, whose glories are not obscured by such a material body, by the deluding quality of the appearance of that body, that by the modes of nature and its karma is bound to wander on the path of repeated birth and death, has to suffer considerably with a repeatedly spoilt memory. May this soul arrive at the realization of his true nature. How else would one find your divine mercy? What else but your divinity that has partial aspect, Paramatma, dwells in both the animate and inanimate, would give us the knowledge of the threefold of time, past, present, and future. In order to be freed from the threefold misery as caused by oneself, nature, and others, we as individual souls engaged in the path of fruitive activities have to surrender to the divinity endowed with a body within the abdomen of another body, having fallen into a pool of blood, stool, and urine, and strongly scorched by a gastric fire. This individual soul, with its body desiring to leave that place, is counting its duration, days after days, weeks after weeks, months, for when it is miserable as it is, will be released by, O Lord. You granted me 10 months of old, O Lord, the light of your incomparable supreme mercy. What else can I do but to pray in return with folded hands, out of gratitude for that incomparable and unequal grace of you who are the refuge of the fallen souls? This living being, as a fetus, can, from its bondage to the seven layers of the matter, only understand what is agreeable and disagreeable. But by you endowed with another body of self control within myself, I am really able to recognize inside of me you, the original person constituting the inner guidance, who resides both within my heart and outside of me. O Almighty One, even though I, who has to live with all the miseries outside of this abdomen, rather not depart from here to land in the pitfall. So the fetus prays for the god Narayana. I just, as everyone else, I who enters this world at once will be captured by your Maya and be entangled in the false identification of the ego that is fundamental to the eternal cycle of birth and death. Therefore, I will, well disposed to the soul, no longer being agitated again, deliver myself quickly from that darkness by placing the feet of Lord Vishnu in my heart. And that's save me from this fate of having to enter so many wombs. Kapila says, thus desiring from within the womb, the nearly 9.5 to 10 months old living entity extols the Lord at that time of being pushed downwards by the pressure of the labor to take birth. Because of that pressure, the child with its head turned downwards, suddenly, with a great difficulty and bereft of all memory, comes out breathless. Like a worm falling down to the earth, it, smeared with blood, moves its limbs and cries loudly. Now it has lost the wisdom in reaching the opposite material position. Now the fetus, once is born, is forgotten all the previous births. What has been remembered in the fetus stage, now the baby forgot all the past births. Being maintained by its folks who do not understand what it wants, it has fallen into the circumstances it did not desire and cannot refuse. Whether baby likes to desire that circumstances or not, baby cannot refuse. Lying down in the folded linen, dirty diapers, the child is pestered by rash and the body. It cannot scratch away from its limbs, for it is not able to sit, stand, or move around. That's how the human body is being described in Bhagavata. The human body is a complex machine. It has got a, a strong ability to repair itself. It's a complex machine, but it has got the ability to repair itself. That ability is not there. Only living beings has got ability to repair within a certain extent. So we can call it human body is an amazingly complex machine with capacity to repair and regenerate to a certain extent. But many of its parts and processes exist simply to maintain homeostasis. What is homeostasis? Homeostasis is the one which controls the body to stay in normal situation. The homeostasis in the human body is something what we learned in physiology as a medical student. Homeostasis means to retain the capacity to live and to continue to live by correcting the body situation to the external environment and internal environment. So homeostasis is a process to exist simply to maintain the natural elements in the natural formula. That formula is called homeostasis. The human body can continue to exist. There are so many things, the qualities of homeostasis. We can say the human body, an internal body temperature, is a great example of one of the example of homeostasis. When someone is healthy, their body maintains a temperature close to 98.6 degree Fahrenheit or 37 degree of Celsius. Being warm-blooded creatures, humans can increase or decrease temperature internally to keep it at a desirable level. Whether you are lying in the summer sun or playing in the winter snow, your body temperature only changes by a degree or two. That's an example of homeostasis being maintained when you got shivery in the cold or sweat in the summer. That is your body trying to maintain the body temperature. That is called homeostasis. One example. Another example is glucose is the most basic form of sugar body needs to maintain the normal functions of the human body. And the only type of the body can use directly is the glucose. The body must maintain proper glucose levels to ensure a person remains healthy. When the glucose levels get too high, the pancreas releases a hormone known as insulin, and it controls the level of the glucose in the blood. If blood glucose levels drop too low, the liver converts the glycogen into the glucose and releases the glucose to the human body. The maintenance of the healthy blood pressure is another example of homeostasis. The heart can sense changes in the blood pressure, sending signals to the brain, which then sends appropriate instructions back to the heart. If blood pressure is too high, the heart should slow down. If it is too low, the heart should speed up. This depends upon the circumstances. The body tries to maintain the blood pressure and glucose also. More than half of human's body weight percentage is water, and maintaining the correct balance of water is an example of homeostasis. You got extracellular water, intracellular water, and total body water. The total body water is approximately 75% or 80% of the body is water. Cells that have too much water bloat and can even blow up. Cells with too little water can end up shrinking. So the human body, a healthy intake of fluids is necessary to maintain a proper water balance so that neither of these situations can happen. Another one example is the calcium levels in the blood. It has to be maintained at proper levels. The body regulates those calcium levels. In an example of homeostasis, this is also an example of homeostasis. When level decreases, the parathyroid organ releases hormones. If calcium levels become too high, the thyroid helps out by fixing the calcium in the bones and lowering blood calcium levels. This is another homeostasis example. The nervous system helps to keep homeostasis in breathing patterns. Because of breathing is mostly involuntary, the nervous system ensures that the body is getting much needed oxygen through breathing, the appropriate amount of oxygen. Eating, drinking, even a simple breathing can introduce indigestible and even dangerous substances into the body. The body maintains homeostasis by eliminating these additional substances into the body. The body maintains homeostasis by eliminating those substances through the gastrointestinal tract and also urinary tract, through the urine and through the stools. An individual simply urinates and defecates the toxins and other nasty things from the blood, restoring homeostasis in the body. This happens, homeostasis, in all the living beings, including the plants and animals. Animals, plants, everyone has got homeostasis type of situation, and this is going on all the time. Suppose if the man or the body attacked by the bacteria or viruses that can make you ill get into your body, your lymphatic systems kicks in to help maintain homeostasis. It works to fight the infection before it has the opportunity to make you sick, ensuring that you remain healthy. That sort of capacity the human body has got it. And animals also got it, and also even the plants has got homeostasis also. Om Namostu Anantaya Sahasramurtaye Sahasrapadakshara Bhasasnamne Purushashte Sahasrakoti Udarane Namaha Sahasrakoti Udarane Namaha Akashat Patitam Medanit Sagaram Sarvade Namaskaraha Sri Kesham Parihatto Namaha Sarva Vedeshat Punyam Sarva Tirtheshu Yatpalam Tatparam Pramapti Vasanad Vasanevasya वासुदन्ते जगत्रयं सर्वभूत निवासोऽसि वासुदेवमूर्ते कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि नारायणायेति समर्पयामि।